Hello, I am going to speak today about the mission in a postmodern context. This might help many people who like to understand what is modernity, what is pre-modernity, post-modernity. That actually I also borrow some slides from others to highlight certain aspects of mission and certain aspects of modernity, pre-modern and post-modern. I hope this is helpful. Uh, for some other readings or further readings, please read some of the good books, including Stuart Hall's Modernity and its Features. I would like to be a little louder here so that people can hear me a little clearly. I will share my PowerPoint from the slide share, so you can download these PowerPoints from the slide share. Most of my PowerPoints are on slide share, including mission series as well as postmodern in the mission context series. And also, I like to say, when you use, please make sure that it is edited some of the pages or referred, because my curricula had all the references, and I tried to put those curricular references in some PowerPoints. The pre-modern, I use this metaphor from someone like a telescope. The pre-modern basically is reality explained in terms of far-off transcendence. It is very important to realize that pre-modernity can be anything. I also should correct a few things about pre-modernity while critiquing modernity now itself. The pre-modernity had lots of blind faiths, lots of faith, and lots of reasonable faith. So it is not all about blind faith, as modernity would say. There were reasoned communities. At the same time, people believed in certain things, many things that we don't share the same beliefs. But in many contexts, the reality is explained not simply as it is observed or as it is seen with evidence, demonstrable data, but rather it is seen within certain people's perspectives, worldviews, or even the faith perspectives. Many of the cultures, traditions, and the practices existed on the basis of people's worldviews. Sometimes people did not know the general historical background of the other or majority other. But then they always had these ethnocentric views, stories, myths of the other, selecting incidents or events and myths out of it, and then develop those views. But even to understand themselves, it is quite interesting. It is, even if you go to a person of a Christian family back in India or in some context, people always think that the reality should be explained within their faith terms or some of the terms that they hold as worldviews. So the reality is often explained from a far-off perspective. That's what the modernity claims about pre-modernity. It may not be necessarily true. There may be some scientific There may be some recent approach in the pre-modernity too, which I will talk in other lectures. Then the modernity is very much based on Descartes. I think, therefore I am. And so the reality is observable, dissectable, and explainable, particularly within the human mind of reasoning. If anything outside reason, it's not necessarily one should accept. There are different views even among the theorists of modernity. Some people would say there is an art and imagination and aesthetic need to be considered within as a logic within and without reasoning in the modernity. But one of the very important thinking that we need to have in the modernity is a grand narrative is possible, to claim it to be the grand narrative, which is social scientific method can make us to observe, understand, explain, and create a general narrative of a particular community or particular nation or a particular world. If we do that properly through an clear observation, it can be dissectable. So the